أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولا تؤتوا السفهاء أموالكم التي جعل الله لكم قياما وارزقوهم فيها واكسوهم وقولوا لهم قولا معروفا صدق الله العظيم. This is verse number 5 of Surah An Nisa. And this verse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that do not give the feeble-minded or the unwise your property, which Allah has made a means of support for you, and do feed them out of it and clothe them and speak to them in fair words as due. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives instruction in this verse to the believers that do not give your property to the feeble-minded. Now, the sequence of this verse with the previous verse is that the injunction to give orphans their property and the women their dower has appeared in previous verses. This may lead one to think that the property of the orphans and women should under all conditions be given to them, even if they cannot handle relevant transactions and are incapable of protecting their property and trusts. To remove this misunderstanding, it has been said in these verses that the property should not be handed over to the feeble-minded. Instead, they should be watched and tested to determine the age and the time when they exhibit the ability to protect their property, and the discretion or into discriminate, like the ability of differentiate between the wrong and right. So then, if you realized in verse number 6, we will read Allah says that you have to test the orphans. If then you find sound judgment in them, if you found that they are wise, they now know the right and wrong, they can deal, so then you have to give their property to them. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تُؤْتُوا السُّفَهَاءَ أَمْوَالَكُمُ الَّتِي, and do not give as-sufaha'a, the feeble-minded, amwalakum, your property, your wealth, allati ja'ala lakum qiyaman, which Allah has made for you a means of support. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this word, they do protect what you own. So these verses affirm the role of the property in man's economic effort, which gives him the desire to protect it. Then at the same time, the general weakness shown in the protection of properties has been corrected. There are people who, giving in to natural love, hand over properties to inexperienced minor children and ill-informed women, which usually results in the wastage of the property and the quick poverty which follows in its wake. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that do not give your property to the feeble-minded. So now, who are feeble-minded or who are the unwise people? So the most revered Mufassir of the Holy Quran, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu says that the guidance the Holy Quran gives in this verse is, do not, by handing over all your property to feeble-minded children and women, became dependent on them. So giving money, all money, to the women or to the children, it is not allowed according to this verse. Since Allah Almighty has made you the guardian and the manager, you should rather hold the property in your safe custody and keep spending from it as necessary in order to feed and clothe them. And should they even then demand to take possession of the property, explain to them honestly and fairly and reasonably in a way which neither breaks their heart nor causes the property to be wasted. For instance, say something like this: all this is there for you. Just grow up a little more and you will have it all. So, based on this tafsir of Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas, the sense of the verse covers all women, children, and others who are feeble-minded and inexperienced, to whom it is dangerous to hand over properties, since it may result in their loss, irrespective of the fact that they may be one's own children or orphans, or the fact be that the property may belong to such children and orphans themselves or to the guardians. So the same tafsir has been reported from Sayyidina Abu Musa al-Ash'ari and the renowned Mufassir, the Al-Barra is a famous commentator of the Holy Quran. So this is the summary of verse, that you should not give your property, your wealth, to the feeble-minded, because Allah shows the importance of the wealth. Allah says this wealth, this property is a means of support for you. So that is why protecting property is very necessary. Wasting it is a sin. A person killed while defending his property is a shaheed, martyr. This is similar to being killed in defense of one's life, which makes one deserving of the great reward of shahada, martyrdom. That is why the Holy Prophet ﷺ said in one hadith, Man qutila duna malihi fahuwa shahidun. Whosoever is killed while protecting his property is a shaheed, that is, he is counted among Muslim martyrs in terms of divine reward. There is another hadith in which the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, Ni'ma bil mal salih li rajul salih, means for a good man, his good and clean property is the best asset of his life. There is another hadith in which the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, La ba'sa bil ghina liman ittaqillah azza wa jal. Being rich is not harmful for one who fears Allah, the Mighty, the Exalted. So these are the some ahadith which shows the importance of the wealth and property. That is why in Islam it is allowed to earn money, but through the lawful way. Some people, they say that they consider themselves like the righteous people and they do not do job, they do not earn money, and they say that actually it is not good. No, they are wrong, because Quran says that the money and property is the means of support. So, but two things, it should be earned through the lawful way, and it should be spent on the things which are allowed which is lawful. So then there is no sin on an earning on money or in spending on those things which are allowed, which are the like in good deeds. So this is the summary of this sentence. In another sentence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that yes, you will not give them complete property, whole wealth to the feeble minded, but yes, you can feed them from your property, you can clothe them from this property. So this is the responsibility of the men to feed the children, to feed the women like in a good manner. And another sentence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and say to them, speak to them like in good words, fair words, because especially with wife, if wife demands money from the husband, so the husband has to speak to her in a good manner that yes, this my wealth, my property is your, but I will buy for you your clothes, food, but actually I will have this wealth and property in my possession, otherwise you can use it as you wish. But the all complete money should not be given to those people who are feeble minded, who are unwise, who do not know the importance of the wealth. So this is the summary of this verse. And do not give as-sufaha'a, the feeble minded, amwalakum, your wealth, allati ja'alallahu lakum qiyaman, which Allah has made qiyaman, a means of support for you, warzuquhum, but feed them, fiha, from it, waksuhum, and clothe them, meaning from it, waqulu lahum qawlan ma'rufa, waqulu lahum, and speak to them, qawlan ma'rufa, words of kindness and justice. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تُؤْتُوا السُّفَهَاءَ أَمْوَالَكُمُ الَّتِي, and do not give the feeble-minded, amwalakum, your wealth, your property, allati ja'alallahu lakum qiyaman, which Allah has made a means of support for you, warzuquhum, and feed them, fiha, from it, waksuhum, and clothe them, waqulu lahum qawlan ma'rufa, and speak to them in fair words. Wala tu'tu means and do not give. As-sufaha'a, sufaha is the plural form of safih. Safih means unwise person, feeble minded. Sufaha is the plural form. Amwalakum, your wealth. Amwal is the plural form of mal, wealth. Amwalakum, your property, your wealth. Allati, which, ja'ala, made, Allah has made, lakum, for you, qiyaman, a means of support, warzuquhum, and feed them, meaning feed the feeble minded, fiha, from it, waksuhum, and clothe them, waqulu, and speak, lahum, to them, qawlan ma'rufa, and fair words. Qawl, like words, ma'ruf and fair, or speak to them good words, kind words. So this verse shows that spending money on the family, it is the responsibility of the men. So because Allah says warzuquhum, it feed them and clothe them. Again, wala tu'tu, and do not give, as-sufaha'a, the feeble-minded, unwise, amwalakum, your wealth, your property, allati, which, ja'alallahu, Allah has made, lakum, for you, qiyaman, a means of support, warzuquhum, and feed them, fiha, from it, meaning from your wealth, from your property. Waksuhum, waksu, and clothe them. Waqulu, and speak lahum, to them. Qawlan ma'rufa, kind words, or speak to them in fair words.